Back to Take a Flight, and today we're here interviewing Mark. Mark, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Pretty
Glad
good.
to be here.
So, Mark, let's start off a couple questions. What clubhouse are you from, and where are you from in general?
I was born in Peoria, Illinois, but then I have lived about 30 years in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I'm from a clubhouse called Genesis Clubhouse in Worcester, Massachusetts. Worcester, Massachusetts is kind of the middle of the state, so it calls itself the heart of Massachusetts, but that's kind of corny. But anyway.
And what is your history with the clubhouse? Like, how did you come to go about it? How did you join, and what was the reason for it?
Well, you know, in 1986, before you were born, I lived in Washington, D.C., and I was going to seminary, and my wife got pregnant, and I needed a full-time job. So I looked in the newspaper, because that's where you got jobs in 1986. And there was this place called the Green Door that said it was hiring someone to work from noon to 8 at night. And so I applied for it because I had to go to class in the morning. So I would go into the place, it was a clubhouse, but I didn't know what it was when I applied. And I worked in the cafe unit or the snack shop from noon to 4. Then from 4 to 8, I would go around the city and visit people in their apartments because they had a bunch of housing. Looked at the clubhouse. I stayed there for 5 years, and then after 5 years, I liked my job. But my son that was born was ready to go to kindergarten. We went to the public schools in Washington, D.C., and there was a policeman at every corner, which kind of freaked my wife out. She was like, we can't send our kid to school with policemen in the corner. So I started looking for a job, and I got a job in Massachusetts at a clubhouse called Fairwinds on Falmouth and Cape Cod. And I worked there for 13 years. And the Genesis Club I knew about because they were in the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition. And they were looking for a housing coordinator to like help them organize their housing stuff. So I left Fairwinds and I went to Genesis, and I work there now.
All right, and since, as you said, that was a long time ago, before my time at least, what would you say there's any noticeable differences from how they operated back then compared to nowadays?
Well, they have computers now, because when I first started with them, any computers, we had mimeograph machines. And I think computers and cell phones and all that really changed the way people think. I think now when people come into Clubhouse, they usually have better computer skills and better phone skills than someone my age. And I think they come in with more knowledge. But you know, people are still the same. They're pretty optimistic. They want to get a job. They want to go forward with their life. They want to make some friends. Yeah, those things are still the same. I think clubhouses help people with those things. I think clubhouses are more organized, a little more focused, because the members that come in know more what they want. All right.
And since you've been in the clubhouse community for so long, what are some interesting events that you've seen witness, or anything notable that you feel like you want to mention on the podcast today?
You know, when I started in like the late 80s, a lot of people were taking Haldol and the other one, Thorazine. And they were really groggy and they were like moving kind of slow. And I think now they have a lot better medicines. I think when I started, people would have been in like the hospital 8-10 years before they came out, and now they're in like 7 or 8 days. So all of that treatment and mental health with better medicine and better services, I think has helped people do a lot better in life. I think having a mental illness in the 80s and the early 90s really messed up people's lives more than it does now. Now a lot of people, it's like their disability just go on, get a job, get a car, and do well. I think some of that's because of better medicine, some of it's because of better therapists and better doctors and clubhouses. I don't know, that's just my gut on it. Did I answer your question?
Of course, that's perfect actually.
Okay.
And one of our last questions, for any sort of newcomer or possible person looking to join the clubhouse, would you have any advice for them?
I think they should join them. I think, you know, clubhouses give people hope, they give people some friends, they give people a place to go, a place to connect. I think those are all really important to humans, that we have contact with people, and I think one of the side effects of psychiatric disability is people kind of isolate and feel lonely and hopeless, and clubhouses help with all that kind of stuff.
Of course.
So that's kind of my gut on that one.
Yeah, you're perfect. And just to wrap this up real quickly, in terms of how the clubhouse operates, is there anything that you personally like or would like to see changed if possible?
I just think more of it. I think there's a lot of people that could use clubhouses. There's a lot of cities without a clubhouse at all. I think, you know, the more we do it, the better we get at it. I think people want to have a good life. They want to enjoy themselves.
That's true.
So that's kind of what I'd say, just more of them, I think. I think every town should have one. Just like every town has a Red Cross and a food pantry and a shelter and all this kind of stuff.
You think it's a necessity for almost?
Yeah, I think it helps people.
Of course. Well, Mark, I'd say that's all the questions we have for you today. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.